It looks like the Seahawks are going to do it. They're going to sign, apparently, an alleged felon. Hello, 12s. Welcome to episode 263 of Seahawks Now. I'm Aaron Coe, and this is where we dive into the news and analysis of everything Seattle Seahawks, your Super Bowl 60 champions. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast. We're at 789 subscribers, inching ever closer to the 1,000 goal that we have. It is free to you to hit that subscribe button, but priceless to us is what I'm trying to say. So thank you to everybody who has hit that button and checks us out and makes us a part of your every weekday. Truly appreciate y'all. Okay, so the Seahawks are set to sign Terrion Arnold. He has apparently selected the Seahawks, and they've selected him. Source said that they have made an agreement to go ahead and get that done. Now, it will be for a league minimum, low-risk deal of $1.145 million. And again, just a reminder, I won't go into the whole thing again. Watch my pod yesterday. I kind of went off a little bit about how they should not sign him, and now I'll probably eat a little bit on this one. But he is accused of 8 felonies, including kidnapping and robbery for multiple counts related to an incident in Tampa in February, and he could face life in prison. He has denied all charges, so these are he's been accused. It's alleged. Let me put all those words in there so we don't get sued on this podcast. But what we don't know is, will he be able to play football anytime soon? Because even though the Seahawks sign him, the commissioner's office could still do some things, including they can put him on the commissioner's exempt list, which means he gets paid to do nothing, and that comes out of the Seahawks' pocket. And the funny thing about the exempt list is you can't call up and be like, "Hey Raj, hey, how's it going? Y'all gonna put him on that list, or can we sign him, or what's the deal?" They won't tell you anything. So you sign him and then they make a decision. So the Seahawks can't really get any intel on that. So a little bit of a risk with that, but again, low risk of 1.145 million. The real risk is perception of the team, the types of questions you get asked, the culture, those kinds of things. But we hope that it's strong enough for the Seahawks organization to absorb all that. So again, Arnold was the 24th pick in the 2024 draft. He was an All-American at Alabama. They have some good football players there, I hear. He's been pretty. I went on about this a lot yesterday, but he's been pretty inconsistent for Detroit. 96 in PFF grade last year. Again, disclaimer: I don't always agree with PFF, but I did watch a lot of film on him, and he makes some really good plays, and then he kind of checks out and makes some bad plays and commits a lot of penalties as well. So I'm not very high on him. But here's what McDonald had to say: "We're going to do our due diligence. There's a lot of people in Terrion's corner that we respect in terms of the type of guy he is. We're going to work through all of that, and I trust our people to make the best decision for us. We also think this is a great place to come to work too, and that people can have the best version of themselves if given the opportunity. Works both ways." So, again, I wouldn't do it. I think Nehemiah Pritchett has played probably just as well when healthy as Terrion Arnold has, and Arnold also missed about half of last season. Julian Neal has the potential to be as good or better. And Noah Igbenogany, we can't sleep on him. That guy had a lot of talent coming out of college too. And he's on the team and could help out as well. So I just didn't really like what I saw from him, but I do. But here's the thing. I'm not John Schneider and I'm not Mike McDonald. I'm just a dumb guy on a podcast. So I have to believe that they know what they're doing. I know John Schneider has made a couple of draft picks and signings in the past that maybe didn't work out so great when he has taken some character risk guys before. But we just hope that this pans out, and we also hope that Mike McDonald and his staff can coach him up and get him to be more consistent. Because again, not that I'm saying felonies are okay, but we're talking about football. Want a good football player, so they got to make him a good football player and hopefully a good person as well. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of seeing what happens, we're gonna get a good look at Jalen Milroe this preseason. So that will be interesting to see what he can do. Preseason games for me get harder to watch every year because you just don't even see any of the starters really very much at least not in every game. It is fun to look at guys who could potentially make the team, although I think even that is harder to judge because like you're like, dude, yeah, good job, but you're playing against guys who are going to be, insurance salesmen next week, and I can say that because I was an insurance salesman before. But we, so we know what Darnold is, and we know what Drew Lock is. I don't think they're going to play a ton this preseason. I'm sure Drew Lock will get in there. I don't think Darnold's going to see the field much at all. But again, if you've been watching this pod for a while, you know I'm down on Jalen Milroe. I didn't like it when he was selected. I thought it was a wasted draft pick at the time because I don't think he's an NFL passer. He has some good running ability. He makes a lot of Sunday plays, so he does have that arm talent at times, but he makes a lot of Friday plays too. Looks like a high school kid out there at times. So I'm just not a big fan. They tried to use him some last season, but he really, it's a little bit unfair. I think I've been unfair in judging him from last season on 3 snaps where he didn't get anything done on those plays. And then he was shelved after that. His last play was October 5th, and that loss at home to Tampa. It was a pitch to Kenneth Walker where it ended up on the ground, and he was credited with the fumble. And then we just never saw him again. He was the third string inactive quarterback, break glass in case of emergency guy. To me, Jalen Milroe, the high end for him is he could be effective enough as a runner and a mediocre passer to get you to 10-7 and a first round playoff loss. I don't think he can win a Super Bowl. And really that's what we're talking about, right? I'm not looking for a backup or a mediocre quarterback. I'm looking for a Super Bowl quarterback. I don't think he's it. I think when, we ride Sam Darnold for a few years and Jalen Milroe will be gone by then. So he's irrelevant to me. So I know some people really like him, and I hate to be a bummer, and feel free to clap back at me. I get it. And I'm happy to respond to that and have that discussion. But I just don't think he can make the throws that you need to win in playoff games. Now, he did spend the offseason working with Jordan Palmer on his footwork and other types of things. And I've heard this a lot over my 45, almost 50 years of watching football. I've heard this from time to time. Oh, he had to work on his arm slot. Oh, his footwork. Oh, his blah, blah, blah. And it never works, except for one time that it worked really well that I remember. If you got another one, please clue me into that. The one guy I was very wrong about was Josh Allen. I saw him play. I was at a Boise State football game when Wyoming came to town, and I'm like, this guy is supposed to be the number 1 pick, huh? Because he was very inaccurate, and then he was inaccurate his rookie year in the NFL. And now look at him. He's in the conversation for the best quarterback in the league, and his completion percentage went way up, and he got way more accurate with the football. So it can happen, but boy, it's not very often. So I'll be watching, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope in 3 years Jalen Milroe leads the Seahawks to a Super Bowl title. I'm happy to eat that. Would love to eat that. Don't think I will though. Okay. But yeah, come at me, bro, if you think I'm wrong about that. Okay. Trying not to freak out about running backs. I've always been a big running back person. But both Price and rookie Jadarian Price and Emmanuel Wilson were out of Thursday practice. Price has been out for a few days. He's done a little bit of running on the side. Emmanuel Wilson has been out since, I think he had a minor injury on Tuesday, but we don't know what that injury is. We're going to see a lot of Velus Jones, maybe some George Holani, although they may want to be careful with him because he might have to play an awful lot early in the season, with Zach Charbonnet, of course, still being out with that knee injury that he sustained last year. You're going to see Jacardia Wright and Justin Jones. I think he's still out there banging, isn't he? Is he still on the team? I don't think if I'm missing somebody, let me know. But I think those are the guys that we're going to see on Saturday night in the preseason game. And we're not going to see Price or Emmanuel Wilson, and maybe not much of Holani, just because they got to be careful with him as well. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I try not to worry about running backs because they are so careful with them, and you don't want to overuse them in practice and in the preseason. You got to save those carries and hits for when it matters. So I get it, but I do get nervous about it. So I'm one guy on each shoulder. Hey, it's not a big deal. Oh my God, they're not playing. I can't help it. So I tend to freak out about these things. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see who gets the carries in that game on Saturday. Viewer comments. So this is from at Becky Thompson 4538. So she saw my rant about Terry and Arnold yesterday and says, I think we're okay at corner. Just stay healthy. Yeah, that is the thing. The depth there could be a little bit of a concern. So I'm not saying they didn't need another guy. I'm just not too sure about this guy. But yeah, I honestly think I like our corners. If Julian Neal can be healthy and contribute, I think you're pretty darn good there with the guys you've got. I mentioned them all earlier. So do we need this guy? Becky Thompson doesn't seem to think so. She's taking the high road and just saying, I think we're okay at corner. Just stay healthy. Didn't say anything negative there. I see what you're doing though, Becky. I know what you're up to. No, but I agree. I think the Seahawks are pretty good at corner already. But yeah, we're gonna see how this goes, how this experiment works. If he indeed is eligible to play football this year, if he indeed is eligible to walk the streets in a few months, we don't know. So that will be interesting to follow. And again, the thing that worries me is I don't want this team to have any crazy distractions that get in the way of them marching toward another Super Bowl title. So that's number one on my mind is how do you get to a Super Bowl? If Terry and Arnold is the missing piece in that, okay, I'm gonna believe you, Mike McDonald and John Schneider, but I also don't want him to be the reason that there's a fracture in the locker room or there are issues. Or people in the media just asked about it too much, which I would do. I'm in the media, and when I go to practices, I'm gonna ask about that, and everybody else will too. It's just the way that it is. So, okay, I probably won't get to stop talking about Terry and Arnold since he is apparently going to sign, but hopefully we can turn the page and just talk about what he does on the football field. Now there will be news about legal proceedings and is he on the commissioner's exempt list and stuff like that will come out. But hopefully we can just focus on the football side of it for the most part. We'll do our best. I gotta talk about what's going on, but hopefully it can be. I sure like it when I can just talk more about football than the other BS that goes on. I just love talking ball. So. But I will stop talking ball for today, and thank you everybody again for tuning in. As a reminder, you can check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please hit all the likes and all the subscribes and all those things, especially on that YouTube channel as we try to get to 1,000. And again, appreciate everybody so much. I just love doing this. It's so much fun. Have a great weekend, everybody, and go Hawks.